Yeah. Okay, I think we're recording now. Okay, yeah, good. Welcome to the Sample Access Podcast. My name is Nelson Wayne here, the main man, the metrics, the season guy. It's been a long time I did that. And I feel good that I just did that intro. It feels like I haven't done it in forever. But yeah, welcome to the Sample Access Podcast. Like I said, we're always right here. Me alongside Gboyega and usually Louisa. But Louisa is taking a break today. She has a couple of stuff to do. But on the Sample Access, we always talk about music and we talk about samples, how songs have been redone, or how songs have taken inspiration from other songs. Most of the time, we compare old with new, but we're not just interested in old and new. We're interested in genre switching as well. So sometimes we'll have a case where an R&B song then becomes an Afrobeat song, or maybe something like a jazz song then becomes like an Afrobeat song, or jazz becomes hip hop. And we always like to do that and explain in details as much as possible and do it in a fun way so that you enjoy exactly what we're talking about. Music is beautiful. Music is already so much fun. So having to understand the details just helps it makes it more fun, basically. Well,
Yeah,
yeah, I'm
right.
not going to be doing this alone. Obviously, I got Gboyega. Gboyega, how you doing?
Very well, man. Happy to be alive. Happy to be able to dream and to make things happen like this one. One episode out of 89. This is the 90th.
Yeah, this 90th episode. Yeah,
Amazing stuff. So we're grateful for every day. We're grateful for every song, for every album, for songs like Young Forever by Alphaville, for songs
you
like
know,
Young Forever by Jay-Z, Mr. Hudson, for songs like
exactly.
Kanye West, and Big Sean and John Legend. Uh, One man could change the world for every song, basically that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's the basis. That's the foundation of the podcast. And yes, as much as we can appreciate music, we can also appreciate what music allows. The universe of music is so big that it's an economy, it's a social ecosystem, it's a lot of things. It's a lot of statistics too. So depending on what you do and how you receive it, sample access is just one way to track music across history. So what songs are coming back in form of samples and new songs? That's what we've been doing over the last 5 years across 90 episodes of the podcast, and we're happy for everyone who is able to join us and sharing our love for music. Nelson and I will do almost like a freestyle episode today, and then we hope you come along with us. Micro samples, juju analysis, music traveling from Tunde Nightingale all the way down to what you now call Owambe Juju bands today. Um, young Nigerian speaking influences from Islamic records, from African records, from Michael Jackson, from uptown music in America, and making a living out of a measure of genres of all kinds of music. And it's amazing. I'm going to talk about that. Nelson has a bunch of stuff that he's also going to let us into, but it's going to be an enjoyable episode today. Yeah.
yeah, definitely an enjoyable episode. And we always like to start off the episode, of course, like just asking how we're doing. But I think you can see we're doing okay. We're doing good. I'm sure Gboyega is fine as well. And it's just two of us today, so I wouldn't want us to waste too much time on that. Everybody's fine. Everybody's great. We just go straight into it. Like we said, this week is going to become this episode exactly is going to be completely different from what we usually do. Usually, we like we said, we give you like we tackle two pairs of samples and then we break them down. But this is going to be like, we're not going to call it a special episode, but it's just an episode for us to enjoy ourselves and talk about music and what we love about music of late. So without further ado, I think we should talk about like what's happening now in terms of music. We're about a couple of artists currently in this time. We're in the year of our Lord 2025, currently recording this one. So we would just maybe for a case of timestamp, we will talk about like the artists that are currently and trending at the moment and the music that is out there. Afrobeats right now, of course, I still Afrobeats to the world in the year 2025. We're pushing quite nicely, and a lot of people have had their say. Some are saying that this might be the end, or this looks like the beginning of the end of the Afrobeats short reign. And some people are saying Afrobeat forever, and that this is going to remain and remain for a long time. But Boyga, uh, what are you listening to lately? What's popping? What are the things that you're on to lately? I know that Fola is doing some great stuff. Fola just released an album. He's basically been the breakout star of the year 2025. There's been one condition that he did alongside Wizkid. We're a little late on that. We didn't talk about that one as well. Also, we have Fowls, releasing videos now to push his already put out album. And, I think there's a lot of music coming out. Rema as well has dropped a video for Kelebu that has caused a very interesting wave. And now he has a new song out again, Fun. And also, a lot of young artists doing their stuff. Gboyega, what are you listening to at the moment?
Too bad I'm not up to date on what's popping with the new with everybody. I haven't heard the new Rema. I think the most exciting drop that I looked out for was it Young John? That was last week. Young John on Whiskey Cash Flow. I went straight to check that out. Um, I'm struggling to, maybe I'm going to cheat and quickly go to my DSP and look at what's happening with Afrobeats. I keep going back to Cheche by Asake and Young John. I keep going back to that. Some of the things that are recurrent on my playlist are from America, Paul, Jay-Z, Davies, but those are, by the way. What I'm really up to lately is lots of Young John featuring Asake. I'm going back to Asake's music, so I'm not up to date. I haven't listened to Pola's new album, Catharsis. I guess that's the title. Tiwa dropped an album. I've caught, I think, 10 minutes, 10x, 10 times. That was one that I really caught. And I think she did some pretty good stuff relating to R&B with that album. Yeah, I keep going back to Brandy, for instance. That could be here, right here. So I'm behind when it comes to music and being up to date with music. I'd like to randomly go back to those songs. I definitely go Loje and Shode dropped Bobo. I saw the snippets. I didn't quite feel it, but Loje claims he has the verse of the year from that song. Um, Naso by Charlie Poppy dropped. I haven't heard it. I wasn't very impressed by the snippets. So yeah, I'll just keep it that way. Odumodu's 2 p.m., 2:02 p.m. in London has been making waves, so that comes up on my timeline every now and then. Cat Slater, Tim Does It, the song of the summer, allegedly, is also on my radar. So yeah, A Star is Born specifically by Jay-Z featuring J. Cole from the Blueprint album 2009. That's been the most streamed album, most streamed song over the last 1 week by me. And to wrap it all up, last night, when you were asking about how we're feeling, I'm feeling tired from last night's show. My own self-appointed best juju band in Nigeria today, Case Sleepy's juju band, was in my city last night, and I went there. And boy, I was I was really inspired. I was very inspired. It was beyond music because, when this man from the Beatles, Paul McCartney, is that him?
Yeah, yeah, Paul McCartney, yeah.
Paul McCartney was in a documentary
McCartney,
about
yeah.
Fela, talking about he saw wonder when he came to Lagos to watch Fela perform. I can say I saw that last night, and it's not some crazy, spectacular something. It's just I can't describe it. So backstory. Case Leaky is a young guy. He's a young Yoruba guy making amazing music. He's been on the music scene for a while. And just for context, he's not in Afrobeats. He's what younglings would call local artists, Yoruba artists. But Juju music
Yeah.
has a rich history that is, you can't call it local. It's the reason why King Sunny Ade was crowned king by, I think, the Queen of England. So Juju music means a lot to us here. It is where everything came from. After Juju music, then Afro Juju hastened the pace when Shina Peters came out. And then Shina Peters and Olufaje Morocco and that generation, Dayo Kujore, opened the door for the next guys. Fuji was also out, and then Fuji took over from Afro Juju. and then the next in line was Afrobeat after Juju. Now Fuji is coming back, but I said all of that to say that it's easy to want to put Juju on one side, but Juju is really, really that genre. So my long story short about last night was that Case Nikki's band, I'll get to it later on this episode, is an excellent band. Two talking drummers, one band leader, two guitarists, Omele, one saxophone. It's an ensemble of excellent music, and I was just stunned. Look, the energy you get when Bona gets on stage, and it has a 2 hour set, and every sequence is all right, every transition is all right. This is the level of artistry I'm talking about, but I'll get back to it much later. So those are the songs on my radar over the last 1 week.
All right, that's awesome. That's awesome. I like the fact that you spoke about listening to Juju and spoke about the band. I saw the video you sent to me yesterday, and I was like, okay, this looks really good. It looks like serious work is being done, and I always love it. I feel like I've been on a couple of not sets myself, but I've been in some concerts where I see some Juju people doing this music stuff, and you can tell when a Juju person has like rehearsed a lot. It's very easy to tell. I mean, there are some that it's just innate now. Like for example, you see Kwan performing, you're like, this man just does this thing for fun, you know? Like he's just
That's what
having
I'm
it, he's
talking
just enjoying
about. The
himself.
excellence in the arrangement and delivery. The excellence. That's what I was really, really
Yeah.
good at.
Yeah. The excellence is unmatched, and I've seen them. And I feel like, I've also seen Burner set as well. I feel like that's the level that most of our artists, especially the Afrobeat artists, have to reach. I think we have not reached that yet. A couple of artists that I probably want to call out in not in a bad way, or not like I'm calling them out like to spank them or something. No, it's just to say, yo, you guys have beautiful music. You need to make your performances as beautiful. Like you don't need to look too far off. I mean, there's a reason why Fela's Pasa Pasa from 1978 in Germany is still important till date. You want to show anybody Fela in his full self before maybe the downward spiral, because everybody knows Fela was up, and like a regular human being at some point went down. Even though I like to argue, because ODO that was released in 1990 might be my best Fela song of all time for me. For me, but then a lot of people will say we had Fela in Shakara and all those kind of things. Yeah, go on, Gboyega.
Sorry, I just had to button because of the Fela reference in 1977. You talked about audio
Hmm.
being one of your favorite Fela packages. So there is this
Yeah,
performance that just went round again, went viral again, and it is the one where he says, "Man get the power, we take can steal
yes,
money." I don't know why
why?
that
I love that
performance.
part so much.
That performance is Vagabonds in Power, VIP. So when I was in
Yeah,
Futa, there was a time I packed all the Fela albums I could find, and I started listening to them. Of course, Power Show, Audio, Double Wahala,
yeah.
for everybody. When
Teach
you
Channel,
start
teach me
listening,
nonsense.
yeah, you know the one that takes, and that was VIP because of the arrangements. My goodness.
Yeah.
Just look, when you are a band leader and you are setting up a baseline and you tell the first guy, no, drum doesn't start. I think it's maybe the guitar that starts, and you lay that background and you stay there for
Yeah,
2 minutes, and then you tell the drums to follow, and then you tell the sax to follow, and then it becomes heavenly. That's what VIP
yeah.
does for me. Sorry to take that from you, but go ahead.
Yeah, but Gwega, I love the fact that you bought in and then you said that. I just thought about it right now. I feel like before even we get to halfway of this episode, I already have the name of the episode. It's the Nigerian Music Appreciation episode. And that's and the reason why is because my plan initially, like I said to you, even though we wanted to just talk about
You're back now.
like,
You're back now.
oh,
Can
oh,
go
yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah. I was wondering what happened before, but yeah. So basically, I was thinking that I was going to delve into talking Obi Onyoha, which I will talk about later. and also like talk about music in general, but spotlighting Obianyoha for our greatness. But now that we're talking about Fela and we're talking about other things, it's still all of them is still in line because, like I said, one of the things that I felt like that and I felt like would be like a great addition to what we already have in Afrobeats is having great performances for every single kind of sound. Of course, like you can, and the thing is, music is beautiful. We make a lot of make a lot of awesome music that we can actually form great performances from. And it's kind of hard sometimes when you see somebody like, and I'm gonna call him, on this episode because I love him so much. Somebody like Buju, and you see Buju in some. I'm like, yes, you are doing great, but I feel like there is so much more that can be done with your kind of music that would make it like unforgettable. Like the performances, I mean now, because you already make wonderful music, so you can have also unforgettable performances all the time as well. And I'm just gonna go back quickly to talk about Fela. A lot of people always, reference that Pasa Pasa stuff from 1978 in Germany. But me, like I said, I love ODOO. And the reason why I love ODOO is for the arrangements. I think out of all the songs and I've listened to a lot of Fela songs, out of all the songs that I've listened to, three songs always come to my mind: Army Arrangement, Shakara, and ODOO. And I'm sure if you know all these three songs, you can tell exactly why I like it. In these three songs, even Shakara that was done alongside Africa 70, there was a way that they arranged the music. If you remember Shakara, is that I don't want to sound like I think it's a Perisophone or something. Those people that do the I'm not throwing jabs at anybody, but basically, the arrangement of the song stuck with me, and that's why I love it. Same thing with Army arrangement. KJ Hamilton on the keyboards for that one too, as well. Great music too, but then you also come to audio from the very beginning. Bam, 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 bam. That's what started the song, and that's what ended it. And then the beautiful voices of the ladies. I get my money, plan my plan finish. Start to go for marketing, start to go for shopping before I reach marketing. Go to don't enter. And then it's like a do 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 do. I could go on and on about this, but it's the beauty, and that's what I love the most about the music. And I hope that Nigerian artists of now would be able to at least pick that up and add it, to what they have right now, and we can blossom. And I'm also on the side of Afrobeat is not ending. Afrobeat is here to stay. I mean, I'm even insulted that people think it's a genre that comes with time and then goes. This genre has been growing for so many years. It probably reaches peak, or reaches peak for the first phase sometime in the early 2000s, mid 2000s, 2010 with the Whiskey and the likes. But it doesn't mean it's a genre that had been cooking. Like it's a genre that the broth of that genre has been cooking for such a long time. And that's one of the things that I would say today for this episode to help us to get an idea that we didn't just stumble into this music. It was something that was coming little by little. And that's why I think Obianyoha that we would be talking about today would be somebody that would help us to at least understand where this great music of ours comes from. They might have not been the ones who made it all it is now, but it's like a step. Go on, Gboyega.
Yeah, I like the breakdown. I don't think Fela was intended for this conversation, but it all comes together. Like you said, the title is set, appreciating Nigerian music, and I like what you said about Afrobeats coming a long way, and I think that's what made me want to, button and add to that. So what we see today is a fusion of years and decades of iteration, corrections, addition.
Yeah,
Our producers they pick from everywhere, and I to add to that, there is also the critique of Nigerians. I saw an African lady, content creator, talking about Nigerians should leave out of the Afrobeats quote unquote bubble, not bubble really, but they want us to go out more and listen to more music out of the African continent. And to connect that to my last thought about fusion of music, if we continue to evolve and sample and recreate, it means there are even more variants more versions that we can come up with if we go to Congolese. Somebody was saying
Yeah,
Falipupa and Move Black. What would that sound like?
yeah,
Look
yeah.
at what Omale, Thames, and Caesar cooked on that South African vibe. So there's so much sound, is it palettes now? There's so many things that we can pick from and put it together. And it goes back to the thing I was talking about. I watched Tunde Stainless last night. So I talked about K-State, but Tunde Stainless is so my brother. There is something called Ilaje music, Ilaje in Ondo State, and it
Yeah.
sounds a certain way. You just look at Fuji music is in Oyo State, Osun State, Kwara State, but that culture doesn't necessarily spill into cultural Ekiti and Undo. By the time you get to Undo and Ekiti, Ekiti Blues by Elemure and King Femi Ario is another body of work that is different. There is something called Alamo, and I think I mentioned something, a name of an Ekiti genre to you, but I've forgotten what it's called now.
Is
There's
it
there's
I think I remember. Is it it starts with a something.
Agija, I'm not sure, but there's a name it's called.
Yeah.
I'm sure I will remember maybe on the future episode. But I'm just talking about
Yeah.
that palette. I'm coming back to Tunde Stainless and the African sound thing and fusion. Now, when you go to Ilaje Oyomi is called the oil producing area of Nigeria. So there is a similarity when you're traveling towards the southeast and south-south. From Ondo State linking Edo State, when you get to Owo, from Akure to Owo, you start to notice change in culture. Owo to Benin to Delta, you see the increase in use of beads and the change in the dressing. The kings and the chiefs have a certain white gownish thing that they wear. What am I saying? As you go along as well, the music also changes. By the time you get to Pogo in Port Harcourt, you have a different genre entirely. So imagine how much we are not even touching. Why did I say all that? Tunde Stainless, Small Doctor, Mega 99. Is it Mega 99? I'm not quite sure, but there,
Yeah.
there,
It's
there are a
Mega
few
99.
guys
Correct. Correct.
who come from that they come from that Ilaje area, and by the time they bring their sound, they bring it to Lagos and add it to their Lujo and Owambe that's already there. A new flavor is achieved. So there are so many palettes that we have not touched or we're not touching enough. But I'm just happy that everybody can leave out their differences and make money off of it. Back to African, Africa-wide, Pan-African in quotes soundscape. Look at what Omale did with Caesar on that song that's trending now.
Tyler.
Beautiful
Tyler.
music.
This is our Tyler.
His name is Caesar, and then he featured Thames and Omale on the mix of that song. I've forgotten the title. But it's a really
Oh,
good vibe. It's a
okay.
really good
Caesar.
vibe.
Okay.
So imagine the South African sound, East Africa, Congo, Northern Africa. Case Daniel was on that energy at one point. So there's so much to do with technology, with collaborations, and I believe that the Afrobeat may evolve into something else, but we're here for it. Techno, electro, dance music, whatever it is, we're here.
Yeah, yeah, we're here, and just to take the segue that we that we needed to take is to talk about the Nigerian songs at the moment. So, Tiwa Savage currently awesome. She's doing great stuff at the moment. I think Tiwa Savage is currently like putting a stamp on there as being the number one female artist in Nigeria, and I don't want to be one of those guys who would probably run away from it. I think she's probably top five of all time. And this is because of I'm trying to run away from being captured by recency bias. I do think she might be top three of all time, but then I'm like, yeah, like if we talk about music as a whole, I mean there's Salawa Benny, there's like, the twins, there's Obi Onyoha, there's Onye Kanwenu, there's Eviana Ogoli, there's
Yes,
Chrissy
AC
Sendoke,
Agese,
there's
Fumi
Essie
Adams.
Agese, Fumi Adams, and also I was this lady that did Black on Black. Askolulaye, Oremi Mashi Jole. I can't remember her name right now. I hope I remember. Tina Mbadiwe. Am I
Have
sure?
you
Is that name
mentioned
correct?
have you mentioned the Lady of Songs? ọmọ mi ṣe ń rere tí a dára o.
Christian Ibukwe.
Yes.
Yes, I have. And
Ah,
also, I'm trying to remember the twins. The
if
twins.
I don't remember. Lijadu sisters.
Elijadu sisters. So there's a
So hold
list.
on.
There's a long list that people can talk about. Yeah.
Sorry, hold on. So let's just be funny and create a top five list right away. The Lady of Songs has a special place in Nigerian female musicianship. She went to Korea. She took Omomissionary to Korea. She was
I think she,
pan Nigerian as much as she could be. So she might be the number one, maybe Tiwa
I think she's
Savage
number
or
one.
yeah.
I think she's
I
number
mean,
one. I agree.
and then
But then
Eviedna Ogoni.
then it becomes like more interesting. Another great segue because we're talking Tiwa Savage. I'll just say this quickly, and then we go back to making that shortly. So we remind people of how great like our artists have been. Tiwa Savage released the album. This one is personal, and I think it's an amazing album. I think Tiwa Savage goes into our bag. I'm one of those Tiwa Savage. I'm one of those fans. One of the fans of Tiwa Savage that loves Tiwa Savage doing weird music. And when I mean weird music, the music that doesn't really pop. For example, Quality Attention is one of my best songs from Tiwa Savage. I love 49.99, but you see, Quality Attention or Attention as she calls it, there's this, the way she does the song, I don't think there's anything more Nigerian than that. The beginning of the song that starts with, baby, I tire for this your matter. You don't they give me headache. Oh. Like the way she does it, I don't think there's any Nigerian artist, female artist, all due respect to all the ones doing it now, that can do stuff like that and still make it pop. Yeah, go on, Gboyega.
I'm just going to add a few Tiwa bangers. Work Father featuring Nas and Rich King.
Yeah,
Love Me, Love Me, Love Me. Love Me, Love Me is an excellent jam. Kele Kele is a very good Nigerian R&B song. That's the template.
exactly,
Because after the
exactly.
old era goes away, the new era starts from Azizat, from Soti, to
Yeah,
many women who have made music. But she really took it that to that level of R&B royalty with Kele Kele Love and Love Me, Love Me, Love Me.
I do agree too. And I was just thinking about it, and I'm like, you see, I feel like, she has done so much. She has the discography for it. She has done so many stuff. Put so much music out there. I think it's okay for us to say, for me, and this is my list. I'm not saying it's sample access list. This is my list. I would say this. I think number one is Chrissy Esenibukwe. Number two is Eviedna Ogoli because of impact and how much stuff she has done. And I'll put number three as Tiwa Savage. And then number four, then we can put number four would probably be like a tough one. I would go
Tony
I
Adams.
would go Fumi Adams because of Fumi Adams is I like to state this that like this is all round. All round. So we're not in any way disrespecting any of the artists, any of this lady. They are wonderful, amazing. For example, notable mentions that I would like to sneak in, if I was allowed to, is like Omaumi and Wajay. I would like to sneak them in, but we need to also understand that there's some sort of like stuff you cannot take away. So Christian Ibukwe, Eviedna Ogoli, and
Please
Tiwa Savage, those are the top three
don't
for me.
forget my crush, Vera. What?
Vera Marioge, Vera Marioge.
Vera Marioge.
Oh,
Venom. Venom
oh,
Marioge. She didn't do a lot,
Venom
but that
Marioge.
one song. And you don't
Yeah,
get that. Yeah, I love
yeah,
it.
but you see, that's what like I feel like we need to come out more. I was listening to one of those pods that I listened to, which is Low Stop. Big shout out to Osags, AOT2, and Steve Dede. I always talk about them because I'm a big fan of their pod as well. They were talking about it. I was saying like we don't really reverend like Nigerian female artists. It's almost kind of hard for you. You cannot place almost a random folk in the Nigerian scene and say, "Yo, tell me 10 Nigerian artists, female, that have been very impactful," and don't name the guys that are recent. They would struggle. And I'm saying, they would struggle. And it's kind of annoying to see. Go on,
This our
Wega.
list. This our list will cause problem because
Of course,
terms
I
are
want you
not.
to, but I'm sorry. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to be caught by recency bias. I don't want to sound like. That's why I say full respect to everybody. I love Tem so much. At the moment, I've listened to Burning for the past 1 or 2 weeks. I probably saw it on my Twitter, on my WhatsApp, if you are my friend. I posted Burning like twice because I do think also I feel like Burning should be put immediately as a classic from Nigeria. I don't care what
Daniel,
anybody's saying.
look,
I don't care
look,
what anybody's saying. I don't care if it says it's a classic forever. That's a beautiful
let's
song.
let's just move away from lists because lists don't make sense. They never make sense. They are always
Yes, it
subjective.
doesn't. It doesn't.
They are
It
always
doesn't. It
relative.
doesn't.
But
It doesn't. It doesn't.
we'll add terms to number six to complete that six, right? But
Yeah,
then
yeah.
let's get back to the show where you was and Burner and Obi Onyoha were performing at the same time.
All right. So this was one of the things I wanted to focus on, but then I think we can just go straight into it because we've racked up about 20 minutes at least, if I'm not mistaken. So I was in Flow Festival in Finland, Helsinki, and I went to see most of the artists. I saw a couple of artists there, some African Finnish artists. I saw Black Star, which is Yasin Bey and Talib Kweli. I saw Burna Boy. I think I spoke about this in the previous episode. But one thing that I didn't say was that on the day Burna Boy was performing, the night he was performing, because Burna Boy was the closer for the Saturday, he was the headliner for Saturday. In one of the other stages, because I think they had like 6 stages, one of the other stages, which I think racked up the most people going there, because I was there often as well, because they had beautiful songs from different parts of the world. Obionyoha was performing the same time as Burna Boy. I need to put this into better context. Obionyoha released her first album in 1980. In 1980. So you understand that she's been around for a while. And she's been doing great stuff. She was first with Time Records. She released the album I Want to Feel Your Love. I Want to Feel Your Love was a perfectly put together album. Remember Lemmy Jackson? I was talking about Lemmy Jackson a lot. Kayode Salami, who is basically Kayode Salami. He was the engineer for everybody. From Ofege to Sonny Okosun to Fela Anikulapo Kuti in the 70s and late 80s. I think Kayode Salami, I need to do more research on him. I want to find out who he is, if he's still living. It would be awesome to have some sort of discussion with him, because he's an embodiment of Nigerian music. If you check the Discogs, you would see every single thing about Kayode Salami. Yeah, go on, Gboyega.
Remind us to send a message to Agbaleto. He's in the best position to help us find
Yes, yes,
Kyle
I would, I
Salah.
would, I would, I would do that. Kayode Salami and also Lemmy Jackson. Lemmy Jackson too. I think Lemmy Jackson is a legend. A legend because everybody who knows any sort of music that was popping in the 80s, whether it was in Tambasi's record, whether it was with Polydor, whether it was with, Decca Records, there was one way or the other you had to connect Lemmy Jackson. He was the music guy. So Lemmy Jackson was in this album. The album had I Want to Feel Your Love, which is a great stuff. I think she performed that one in Finland. In fact, it was like the main song that people spoke about. Amazing stuff is that I heard that there's a 2025 version by an artist that is not from Africa that did I Want to Feel Your Love. We would put that also. Maybe we can put that in the show notes if that's possible, so that you guys can listen to that. I'll put I Want to Feel Your Love. I'll put it right again. Uh, Enjoy Your Life, which is the perfect one for me. Enjoy Life is a personal song. That's one of the songs that is also very popular. And Wait for Me, and Here We Are. Beautiful woman. She's an amazing musician, amazing singer, amazing songwriter. She was just she was the beginning of something new. And the reason why I say beginning of something new, the Lejado sisters were already popping in the late 70s. In fact, they were already popping in early 70s, but it wasn't just till like the late 70s where they had the songs like We All About, what's the name of that song again?
Orere
Orere
Elejibo.
Elejibo. Orere Elejibo, which was released, I think, in 1979 thereabout. But Obionyo popped out in 1981, and she's been doing music. After that, she signed for King Sonny Ade's record label, which is Sonny Alade. That's correct, right?
Correct.
Not Sonny Alade, Sonny Alade Records. And
Yeah.
she released an album called Break It in 1987. And the reason why I think Obionyo should be referenced in all of Nigeria's music is because if there is a trajectory of how we reach this point, she's also a part of that curve. I've spoken a lot about like a couple of artists that were trying new things from the beginning. When we started to make urban music, and this was because Juju was already doing well, High Life was already doing well. Those were like original music, but we didn't have urban music, right? So people were trying to understand what exactly do we do to connect. For example, Fela said, you know what, I'm just going to make my own genre. And then in the late 70s, which was we knew that that was the craziest time for Fela as a human and as for his music, because he released, Sorrow, Tears and Blood in 77, released Shakara in 77. I think Zombie also came in that around that same time as well. So all of these songs formed what we know as Afrobeat without the S, which kind of started from Viva Nigeria, which was a full jazz song by Fela in 1966, right? So all of this, the curve is there. And that's why sometimes when people talk about Nigerian music, I'm a little bit hurt that people do not understand that we do come from a very long, sweet, interesting, beautiful history, and nobody wants to talk about it. Go on, Gboyega.
I love that reference. And, the last point you made about we come from a lot of history, a lot of rich history. Ambrose Campbell,
Yeah,
Daniel Ajayi
Amos
has
Campbell in
done,
1968. In 1968 as well, Amos Campbell in 1968
yeah,
doing the song that was later done by, was it Paul McCartney who did the song later on?
Hey Jude.
Hey Jude, yeah, it was the Beatles, and a lot of people still do not know that the Beatles, Hey Jude, was from there. Go on, Vega.
I was going somewhere. So Ambrose Campbell is one of those very, very, very respected voices and sages in our music history. And his impact is still being felt, even though people may not see it. So I like the works of people like Agbalek, Sudani Ajayi, who write and speak about these people. And that's why history will never die. At some point, the kids of today and the future will find some of these things. And I like what the internet allows us to do as well. Look at these evangelists. Who did this speak for me? Who did this people for inside?
Come on
Who would have
inside.
thought? And that's just year 2000 or so. So there's so much that will come back. But I need those of us who are in this space to, continue to do what we do, even if it's just a few people listening, a few people reading. Sometime in the future, they will get to the right place. So yeah, you mentioned Viva Nigeria by Fela, and that struck a chord because about 10 years ago, I was planning to do a radio show that would talk about Nigeria's diplomacy and place in the world. And I was looking for a song that would be my theme song. And I just said, whenever I was ready to do this show, Viva Nigeria by Fela would be my theme song. I wrote it down, I played the song over and over because
Yeah,
it's like poetry, it's like jazz. He was
yeah,
just
yeah,
speaking. This is his brother, Fela around some pretty. That was the same time I heard Roy Ayers and Fela 2000 Blacks got to be free
yeah.
by the year 2000.
Yeah, Gboyega, I can't hear you at the moment.
Roy Ayers passed away some time ago, and that brought to mind his collaboration with Fela and others. So yeah, I just wanted to speak on Viva Nigeria. It's a personally beautiful song to me. I love it so much, and the
Yeah.
message it has, the message of unity, message of all that he wanted to achieve. Some of them may not be achievable, but it's just a good spirit. The song just has a good spirit. Yeah.
Yeah, so just like I said, Viva Nigeria, starting the birth or being the birth of Afrobeat as we know it, because from that movement, he then, metamorphosed from being that guy to being the guy that actually makes Afrobeat, and then from Afrobeat, everybody started to get into the groove. I mean, the Ghanaians got groove of it, and then we had a lot of people, coming up with different groups trying to sound like Fela. But at the same time, whilst all of this was happening, there was another group of young Nigerians that were trying to fit into that, fray as well. But they were thinking, what should we do? How do we sound? And that's where you have people like Obianyo coming in. Obianyo coming in 1981. She was facing people at the time. I'd like to make it clear, by the time this album was put out, Michael Jackson's Thriller had not even been recorded. So you understand that we do have history, but sometimes it's kind of hard for people to like follow through because explaining it might be a little bit difficult. But that's what we're here for. In 1981, when this was released, the Michael Jackson album had not been recorded yet. The only album Michael Jackson had at the time was Off the Wall in 1979. But then so something was happening in Nigeria. Now, Obianyo had been extremely learned already at the time, and you knew already that we were listening to songs from Britain and songs from America. That was what we were consuming. So if there was going to be any urban experience that we're going to get that wasn't going to be related to traditional singing or what we had at the moment, which was high life and juju, somebody had to do something that would try to sound Nigerian and then use the techniques and the technicalities of Americans. And I feel like the first person that I would say did it in such a way that it blew up and became resonant. And I'm careful with my words because I know some people would come and say, oh, in 79, in 66, there was this person, this person. No, all of those people, I respect them fully. But I'm saying the first person that was able to push it out to be commercial and people started to talk was Obionyoha with that album. People thought it sounded more American than Nigerian. But if you listen to the album again, you can tell there was a mix going on there. She was trying to work on something. How do I sound Nigerian, but do a really good song that the Americans will be able to enjoy as well, or the world at large will be able to enjoy? And from there, we started to cook. And then we had people like Chris Okotie coming, Steve Monite coming, with things that are falling apart. Then we had people like Felix Liberty. Felix Liberty took it by the scruff of the neck and was trying to push, the edge and do different stuff. And I mean, I think Felix Liberty's biggest song was what? If I'm not mistaken. If I'm I want to marry you. And then,
William
my cookie
Oyembo by
comes around as
Kofi.
well. Yeah, but then William Oyebo is known. I mean, this if not for if people do not know this, William Oyebo is known as the quiet artist. He's the most intelligent artist that ever come out of Nigeria that was very quiet. He was the first person to understand before social media how to run away from media. William Oyebo only was out there when he wanted people to see him. So he was that guy, but he was very quiet. He wasn't moving around just like everybody trying to make stuff happen. He was doing his music the way he wanted to do it. I saw a story one time. I don't know whether it was a documentary or a YouTube video, but somebody was saying William Oyebo only put out music he wanted to put out. It wasn't the kind of person that wanted to make everybody feel good. Is I know what I'm feeling right now is this music, and I'm going to make it and put it out. William Oyebo is what Frank Ocean is doing now. Basically, let me put it that way. So, and the interesting thing is, you also realize that all of these songs that we have that are beautiful, a lot of people have heard them because they went across board. When Polydor, Decca Records, all these guys come around and get the music, it goes across board. That's why somebody like Frank Ocean can do Steve Monite's things are falling apart. You know, or tonight. I'm trying to remember the name of the song from Steve Monite that he did as well. There's Steve Monite song that is very popular that people still do to today. I'll try to look for it whilst to go on. I'll probably return back to that. But then, just to explain that there's a trajectory that's been going on, and sometimes we need to also connect back to the history and listen to whatever has been done before and see the connect. And I'm going back from that. From Obionyoha, I think Obionyoha, the fact that she still performs to date is a blessing. And I feel like I would be so happy if there is a setup put up together in Nigeria, maybe this Christmas or next year or whenever, as soon as possible, to bring those women and let them just do their songs and let people remember that there were some women and men that came together to bring us to this point that we are right now. If other people can appreciate them, we as well can appreciate them. From Obionyoha, we also move on to other artists. And also, there was a new stuff that I heard as well. Obionyoha's album, I Want to Feel Your Love, was sold recently for $1,700 as a collector's item.
Say that again.
And that's very, very impressive when you think about it. And the music speaks for itself. I can sit here and talk for the next 1.5 hours about the trajectory of the sound, and then going into the 90s, and then you have people that had a little bit more nerve in their spirits to come out. People like Magic Odumi Fashike, and also have people like Alexito. Is it Ghanaian Nigerian? I can't remember exactly, but he's half and half of one of the West African countries. Whether it's Cameroon or Ghana, I can't remember. But he did that, did stuff like Tickle Me, Wala Colombo, and all of those songs stood the test of time. And in all of those songs, like I said, in every of the years as they go by, you can tell the mixture. They were looking for the right mix. They were looking, because the Nigerianness that you hear in a song like I want to feel your love or enjoy your life. It has elevated when you listen to Alex O's Do It in the Name of Love. That's dun, da, 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 da. The approach now, you can tell, oh, okay, because the Alex O song came in 1990, so 9 years after we had worked on it, and then on and on and on, and that's why people like Plantation Boys could have done You and I, and then Afrobeat starts. So if we're going to talk about this history, we need to talk about the women, and I'll just say this on the wayside. I know Gboyega is going to be happy about this. Veno Marioge's Nigeria Go Survive, another classic that will forever live. You know, that one song is
Oh,
enough. Even though she
so
did other songs, but that one song is enough.
I'm
But go
about
on,
to flip
Gwega.
I'm about to flip the whole thing on its head now. So where do I begin? Let me just begin anyhow. Somebody was asking on Twitter, um, what does Kendrick Lamar have over MI?
Oh, okay.
Don't try to answer. It's a rhetorical question. And I tried to answer. I said, Compton versus Taraba economic differences or standard difference in standards of living, right? And that leads me to a skit on MI's first album. Put your lighters in the air. Oh, Blaze. You know me now. Normally I don't smoke. Ask me that. Usually I won't. Too much smoke. Da, 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 da. Just give me the light. So what that skit was saying is that Emma was in the US and then I think he was schooling and then he came back to Niger. So that skit was saying that are you sure this is Nigerian stuff? Are you sure they do it like this in Nigeria? Blah blah blah. So why did I say all that is to say that I don't like, maybe I don't like is not the way to say it, but I think it takes something away from us that over the course of history, say from Fela and others, the people we call local musicians, say from Fela and those, these guys you have just highlighted tried to be American. And that led us all the way down to,
Yeah,
so
but I'm sorry. Can I butt in quickly? Like, I
sharply.
think I don't want us to digress from it. And I just remember the name right now is Tina Onwudiwe. I said Tina Ambadiwe just to
Okay, okay,
maximum respect to the she's
okay.
it was called African Oyibo. But what I wanted to say is that I think the approach is different. Uh, please pardon me. But then a lot of people thought they sounded Nigeria, but I don't think that was the case. Going back in time now and listening to all of this music, they were trying to strike a balance. They knew there was a concept, they knew there was an idea. I mean, what were the songs in 1981 that was raining? Maybe songs like Aha, Take on Me. Take on Me. When you hear Take on Me, that was probably the biggest song in 1981. Take on Me doesn't sound anything like I want to enjoy your life. Not at all. Is there American vibe in it? Definitely. Dum 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 dum. There's a sound in there. But did she want to sound American?
No.
I think there is a problem somewhere, and this is probably a lot of teachings that we have to like sit down and understand. Nigerians were more Brit than American.
Okay, there's
So
that.
if for
Pardon my
anything,
language.
if for anything,
Pardon my
yeah, if for
language.
anything, I think this is something that a lot of people have to understand and get. They were just trying to find the right mix. There were
Right.
some people that wanted to sound American. I will give you that for sure
Hold on.
because of the Jerry
I,
calls and everything.
yeah,
Because
yeah, yeah.
obviously, for like Alex or something, he had a Jerry call. But go on, Gwega.
So I think it's the way I broke it down or the way I said it. So maybe I should not have said they wanted to sound like American. They wanted to make global music. Maybe that's a better way to put it. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. But the dichotomy needs to be highlighted. The difference needs to be highlighted because it leads us to why a lot of kids today do not know Ese Agese. She was speaking Nigerian lingo, but the production is American, is foreign, is global. Venom Marioge on Nigeria Go Survive was speaking Nigeria. Coco de for North, Coco de for
Yeah,
South. That's pidgin. But the beat, bang, 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 that's Synth,
Yeah.
electric guitar
Seems to go
is
crazy.
like
Yeah.
lakeside. Do you get what I'm saying? So
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, look at us. A lot of us want to speak gonna wanna. When Migos
Yeah.
was in Lagos, you heard what the crowd was singing. Look at do you feel what I'm saying? Rasky did covers of Ludacris.
Yeah.
You and I by Plantation Boys is an R&B song by
I mean,
Nigerians. P
yeah.
Square
Sounded more R. Kelly like.
P Square literally said, imitating Manny Michael Jackson. They used to call him. So
All our
there's
Peter. Realize
there,
it, P Square better.
so it's not a problem, but ultimately what we have come to is that
Yeah. Yeah.
local.
Yeah.
That's why Fuji has come back. Fuji never left, but it's just blown in everybody's face now. And it's so cool now to do all the after work with Kilo, so my point is, it's not wrong, and this relates to economics in many ways. Odumodu versus whomever is the same problem, or not a problem, it's the same issue. Odumodu is speaking Wari Pidgin, Lagos Pidgin, whatever Pidgin, local language. Rappers who rap like that, it's only those of us who are elite. I'm not even an elite. Those of us who are that really get that.
I like to say
So
students of hip hop.
yes,
And because
yes.
that's a more
Purist,
humble way to say it. Purist.
purist. By the way, your wish is coming through Odumodu and Mode 9. That's the extreme. Those are the
Two
extremes,
ends of
right?
the spectrum. Two ends of the
At the
spectrum,
end
yeah.
of the yeah, at the end of the day, we need everything, but we need to define back to MI and I was talking about Ikiti Ondo music that we may not be touching as much. This is such a broad topic, but I hope I'm not missing anything. Um, the long and short is that we want to find a middle ground that works for everybody. There's a guy that I just found on TikTok, and he's doing drumless hip hop. It's the type of sweatshirt, you know,
Oh yeah.
currency, and he needs to find his economy wherever it is, so he
Yeah.
can make what he likes and also make money while at it. So I don't. I look at Venom Marioge. How many albums can we refer to? Maybe two. She had to stop. Onyeka Onwenu was another example of somebody who blended, you know, international sound with local sound. Iyo Gogo and One Love Keep Us Together. She had it. In fact, One Love Keep Us Together is very Nigerian, more Nigerian. It's not rock or global. So
But then also one law, for example, which is like some a kind of conversation that people probably not run away from, is that like I have played One Love to You by Atlantic Star before, and you can tell the strong correlation between both songs.
I'm sad I can't remember that right now.
One Love by Atlantic Stars sounds almost alike to One Love by, but then, like I said, even though the writers of One Love were white, like the white men that were pushing music at the time, you can still tell that they made it Nigerian as much as possible. So when I was growing up, I was one of those people that when you tell me, these are the guys, I would say immediately, they're trying to sound American, because I didn't
Hmm.
really understand, in depth what was going on.
Yeah.
I don't have context. I don't have proper understanding. Now you come up to me and now you sound like I'll say, yeah, you don't have enough knowledge of what was happening at the time. A lot of people still argue when they see a like a series like Mr. Bassi and Company, and they say, do Nigerians really sound like this? I'm like, come on, bro. We have history. You have to understand the history. Go on, Wega.
Ultimately, I just wanted to wrap it up. Everybody should have the room to do what they like, to do their niche music, to do their cool stuff, to sound however they want to sound. But we should also be able to identify what pedestal or what ecosystem each person is working in. So back to the
Yeah.
question about MI and Kendrick. Why is a Kendrick considered higher than MI? The economics and the background which which they reference. So the context for Kendrick is different from MI's context. MI is a king in Nigeria, but because the economy is not, we are not an imperial power. We cannot impose, even though now we have the Afrobeats power, but MI is a rapper. So in the rap universe, if there was a rap Olympics, the Americans would show up, South Africans would show up, the UK boys would show up. Shouts to Kepler, who recently sparked a needless fight with American rappers, and only one of them took him up. Nigerian rappers will also file out. MI, Mode 9, Payback, Keyboard, everybody file out. Global Rap Olympics, come and rap. What context are we rapping in? Is it Compton? Is it New York? Because they are the
Yeah.
pioneers, they are the owners, quote unquote, of the genre, even though people say hip hop comes from Africa. But African hip hop from those years would have a different background too. So South African rappers, Casper Nyovest, Nasisi, all of them will come and rap. Stogie T, come and rap in your South African context. Nigerian rappers come and rap. So how do we judge? So what I'm saying is there is no basis for that comparison. Kendrick is king in Compton, MI is king in Africa. So there's no need to, if that makes sense. I'm rambling now, but enough said.
I do feel like, those kind of things they're just meant to stir conversations. I think it was the tweet was posted by TG Omori, the video director. Uh, uh, I don't know whether he intended that it would go that far, but I'm sure he probably also knew in his mind one way that like this would stir up a conversation. I saw one of the takes of somebody that I respect so much, Chuka Obi, Xavier Obi. Let me call him Mr. Chuka Obi because I have to be respectful as a Niger. But yeah, I saw his take on it and then he explained really well. And then he said, I think conceptual storytelling is the only thing that he thinks that Kendrick has over MI. Everything else, he pointed out the fact that MI produces. I think people forget that MI is the producer. MI plays multiple instruments and also writes. And he said something which was very funny. He said MI has dumbed down his music so much so that people can actually enjoy it and be commercial with it. I still say it to today. If you have not listened to Study of Self-Worth, Young Denzel by MI, you have not seen him in his full bag. Only thing you have taken is just if you are listening to Rendezvous or you are listening to like MI1, MI2. Those ones are just MI trying to like I don't want to say panda, but trying to make his music enjoyable for everyone. But I'm a big fan of Kendrick and I'm a big fan of M, and I would never pit them together. Like you said, just two different lifestyles. They cannot tell the same thing. You cannot tell Ja Rule to come and rap like Kendrick. They did not have the same life. That's why J. Cole cannot tell you a company story about when he was running away, or he cannot give you a Sharon story. That brother went to college when everybody else was struggling to hustle. He would never be able to give you a hard knock life. J. Cole would never sing hard knock life because he didn't have a hard knock life. Dave Chappelle would never come to you and tell you comedy about suffering in the trenches because my man was living in the suburbs. You understand? So that's just everything has like there's
Right.
context to every single thing.
So much going on in what we're talking about. I want to talk about rap. You mentioned Dave Chappelle, and I'm thinking Bobby because we need more intellectuals, we need more, and we have them. We just need to hear them more, right? We need a lot more of them to come out. There's a comedian called Funny Urge. He's not really on that level with Bobby, but I like his brand, his brand of stand up. He's also an artist. But I wanted to speak to rap. J. Cole, Jay Z, A Star Is Born. That's my favorite new jam now. And that was J. Cole, J. Cole's introduction to the world by Hope after getting signed to Rock Nation. That aside, reminds me of the fight between Kendrick and Drake since we're on the topic of rap. Thank goodness. I was thinking about it yesterday. J. Cole should thank his God that he apologized and deleted 7 minutes ago. If he hadn't done that, his legacy would have been ruined. Just imagine Kendrick pulling J. Cole into that mess that happened with Not Like Us and everything else. Imagine J. Cole catching strays on Not Like Us. It would have been terrible and messy. So,
And the J. Cole, sorry for butting in. The
yeah,
J.
yeah,
Cole
yeah.
strays would have been crazy because I can tell that that Sigma cum laude that he has would
It
be
kicked
the
him.
downfall. That would be because Kendrick as is, I think he's a psychopath. in his music.
You
It's
say,
easy
wait,
for you
wait.
to say, when you think about it, saying not like us, and I know but this is far gone, not like us. There is a verse that can be written to address J. Cole alone, to make sure everybody understand that he's really not like them. Because
Yes,
like you get what I'm
even
saying. So
though,
it's,
even
yeah,
though, even though, when you're fighting someone, or you throw up the gloves and everything becomes messy. And that's why Jacob, even he could not believe the lies he told on 7 minutes. He said his shit is whack. How can you say Kendrick's work is whack? You can see everything, but don't say that. And he realized it, and within 1 week, he quickly said, "Oh, more, make a job for more hand for this fee." He said, "I'm sorry," and that's the good boy in him kicking in. And I'm happy for him that he did that. Imagine, because even Kendrick had to quote unquote tell some lies against it, because when you're fighting, you don't really care. Now Drake is filing lawsuits and stuff, pedophile. It's all messy. Imagine, okay, the same way J. Cole lied, stood on business, Kendrick too will now come and say, J. Cole, half caste, your mom is German, your dad is blah, blah, and then it's going to be terrible for nothing. That's why fighting is so, my God, like, you guys don't need to fight. Let's just make music and move on. Make everybody go calm down. Because when fight, look at Jay-Z and Nas, it got really messy. um, Jay-Z and Nas, Biggie and Pac, people should just let it rain. Barista and Collington, Pasuma and Saeed, Modnine and Rocket. I mean, when there's a fight, all the gloves are off.
yeah, basically. But yeah, Gboyega, because I'm seeing right now, I think by my timer or by my own timer, I think we're almost 1 hour in, and I just wanted us to make this. And let me say this before we move on: we haven't done justice yet. I feel like now that we've spoken about it, I do think we need to have a full-on episode to talk about not just sampling, but talk about the women in Nigerian music. Maybe this would serve as a reference point when people start saying, "Oh, what have Nigerian women done, or how impactful have they been?" And then you just say, "Hey, go and listen to the sample
There's so
access
much.
pod. They did something."
So
So yeah,
so
well, guy, you can
I'll
take us
just
away with the juju stories and all of those things. Yeah.
yeah, I'll add now. Imagine I've forgotten that. So I want to talk about Tim Does it, but I'll quickly mention that the future episode we want to go about Nigerian women. Meanwhile, we're still owing a future episode that we promised years ago about Nigerian mixtapes. We need to do it, and that will come.
Oh
This
yeah,
one also about
yeah,
Nigerian women. Maybe we should, now that we have talked about the older women, we should start from year 2000 and talk about women who did something but they did not pop enough. Azizat is one of those. There are many of them, many,
yeah,
many.
yeah, yeah.
Pearl, Mo Cheda,
Ke-
there's a long
Chemistry,
list.
chemistry.
Stoti, Chemistry, Blaze,
Yeah.
Sasha P. And then if you even push it further to this generation, Fave, we talked about Thames, what's this girl's name? That one girl was signed to Aristocrats.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah, true. Oh,
there's
yeah,
Lade, there is the
yeah,
lady Tony Obasa, which a lot of them had problems, and there's a common problem with the new generation. The industry is not kind to them or kind enough to them. Terms started with the leading vibe, inviting a community of women. Let's produce, let's interact. So there's a common challenge with women. There's also that of marital, and when you get into a certain stage and you start having children, you cannot compete like everybody else. So we'll take that conversation to the new generation. Shout out to Ken Care, shout out to Jessica Bongos, the daughter to Bongozikwe,
equal.
um, um, Lady Don Lee. There's an Abuja collective of
Oh,
women doing amazing stuff.
I love me some Lady Donley, man. I love me
So
some Lady
yeah,
Donley. And of course,
we,
Asha.
yeah, the queen. So there's so much to touch. We may not be able to touch on all of it, but maybe the next one
Yeah.
will be about the new generation ladies. Now, Team Does It has the song of the summer, arguably. The other songs that should have competed was with you, um, David or Malay, but I think that is now going under the radar. But Past Later has the internet on lockdown by Team Does It. I love the song. It's an excellent rap song. I mean, it's what hip hop embeds. You start a verse with "Walk in the Room" like I'm Vincent Kennedy. Amen. You must remember me. A lot of movie references, and then you refer to Nigerian and Gboyega, and then the whole world is catching up with who is this? What is this? What's the song? What's the reference? And I just love it. And shout outs to Tim does it. Yeah, now let's go to Juju and what I'm realizing with the new generation. I posted yesterday on Twitter. I said, give me some seconds to pick this up. So there's a young active demographic who consume more Fuji and Chungba than Afrobeats. That should be
Hmm.
obvious, but it's easy to overlook. That may not be
Huh.
a totally factual statement, but I do see that
Yeah.
there is a demographic who in their cars they have the Pasuma, the Said, the K1 tapes, and then they have the Fujicologists, the Demola Suzy. And somebody asked me, on that tweet. He said, "This is interesting. Who are these guys?" SB. I listed SB Live, Case Vicky, Tune Stainless, Demola Suzy, Boye Best, Fujicologist. There's a girl called Most Precious. She's doing amazing. Segun Johnson, the hype man, is growing globally. They're doing tours around the world. So you would think that they are just party musicians. Abe or some, I can go on and on. There's like 100 of them or more. And then you realize that this is actually, they are the online sensation guys. You can now argue that they are making more money than most Afrobeat underground acts. Apart from the top 10, top 20, top 50 Afrobeat acts, everybody else is probably managing Toro Kobo from streaming services. But these guys are out every weekend. And when they go to a party, if it's an elite party, there's a bond. You are seeing bundles on stage, my brother. They don't move with small, small cash anymore now. They spray in bundles. And then you are wondering what's going on. Videmiola, but the gospel section is also popping. And so it looks like Afrobeats is what the global, everybody's seeing around the world. But there is an underground economy. It's not even on underground anymore because Segun Johnson can do a tour in Canada. And the top, apart from the top three or top five Afrobeat acts, the other five to six, 10 cannot pack 2,000 people, in Canada. So you're seeing an underground, what you can call an underground genre, get along so well, and it's so good to see. I mean, the culture has always been there, the culture of praise singing, because when you open Obey and Ebenezer Obey, Baba Ebenezer Obey and King Sunny Ade, the theme of the music is to start playing your music for 5 minutes, and after 5 minutes, anybody who's on the stage or at the party and they can spray you some 20 naira back then, you start
Yeah.
hailing them. Oh, Adonile Nelson, Olalaye Mubarodi. And then you start saying Nelson is king, Nelson is this,
And already.
Enire Mubarodi, Nyomi Atata. And the culture of praise singing is embedded very well with Owambe and party music. You go to Akpala music, you find it there, Fuji music. So these guys, what are they doing? Some of them will pick Jackson's music, and they will loop it into Alujo, and you'll be surprised what's going on. And then if it's a slow vibe, they know how to pick Lionel Richie, Celine Dion, and they merge it into a medley that fits the occasion. And then when it's time to switch, you see them picking Davido. Oh yeah, the weather on top of Alujo, they can
Yeah,
pick anything.
Nico.
They can pick anything and they will merge and merge and merge, and you have an amazing show. So I see that it's an area that a lot of people may not be looking at because of the glamorous posture that Afrobeat has. But there are many Afrobeat musicians who are just struggling to get shows. But these guys are sorted every other weekend. They have something they can hold on to. So that's the highlight that I wanted to speak to. It's exciting, and I'm just going to talk about Case Nikki again. This is star extraordinaire, musicianship at the highest level, as far as I'm concerned. Because for you to arrange a band of 10 or 15 members, four of them are, the tenor, whatever the, music backups are. You have four of them who are backups. You have one that is called the Olohun. And Olohun in Yoruba music, there is a pattern to them. Obey has a famous one. Um, and even Pasuma had his own. That there is a way they put a jazza, they make it sound nicer. They they are they are an essential part of the band essentially. So we see that these guys are setting up from cradle, from small adubo bands, and before you know it, they create really valuable music that goes around the world. They're doing tours in South
Yeah.
Africa, tours around the world, and it's so amazing. So shout out to Case Licky. Please check him out. You may not enjoy it the way I do, but there's a demographic of young Nigerians who are really tuning into these guys. A little bit of Afrobeats, but they are heavy on live music. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I love the fact that we're even talking about these people, and I think they need that push as well. I'm sure they're doing very good for themselves. Like this artist I'm talking about, this artist you're talking about the guys that go out there. I always see them now. I mean, for example, it's like this guy going around that was at whose wedding was that recently? The popular guy, Mafi Siakpa. Oh, what's his name? Gboyega, are you familiar with what I'm talking about?
Is that Shegun Johnson? Shegun Johnson is the star boy of O1 music now. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the start of one music. I mean, a lot of people are now actually working towards connecting to the culture one way or the other. I mean, some of them I find them very interesting. Some I cannot talk about on the pod. I think maybe when we finish the podcast, I can speak to you about some of the people that are trying to merge into the culture and they are probably not doing it the right way. But I love what is going on. Ah, you want to say something? Go on, please.
Yeah, sorry to cut in because you talked about Shegun Johnson. Do you know that Shegun Johnson is catching a lot of smoke online because people say he's not as crafty as other musicians? So when you want to pre-sing in the Sonny Ade days, you have a backstory that you want to tell. You go to their family, you rekey, you do it in a way that it is so crafty. And people are saying that if they use K1 for instance, K1 was hailing Ashake's mom. And K1 on the spot, was able to create, K1, very crafty, create a pattern on the spot, compose on the spot. And people are saying that it's not like this other guy who just says one thing 10 times and say, "Akwa, Shemanowe, and Shemanowe." So he's catching smoke. But I think that that's his style. He also knows how to
Yeah,
compose when it's time to compose,
yeah.
but people just don't. They don't. Some people don't like the fact that he says the same thing over and over and over again.
I mean, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's like the rule, right? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. So yeah, I understand too because I have seen, for example, I've seen Mega Nine and I've been in a show where I've been in a celebration where Mega Nine was present and he was top tier with that stuff. He did really good stuff. You know, it was quite nice what I saw with him. It was beautiful. But then also, I understand that people would have issues. Honestly, I might be one of those guys that have been like, I don't get it though with this guy. Like, what exactly is there? Because he's just repeating the same thing. But like I said, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But I've been one of those people that be like, I'm like, why is he saying why is he saying Sia? Like, is he gonna
My
say this for the
boy,
entire party?
my boy is cashing out. He is
I
not
mean,
even
do your
taking
thing,
gigs.
bro.
He's not taking gigs from. If you have the money, you must have the people too. That's what he said. So it's not enough to have my charge. I want to know who are the elites who are coming to your event. So I would know if I would drop yours for this other one. So he's booked and busy.
That's interesting. I love that. I love that. But yeah, there's a lot of people trying to connect to the culture, and like that's the only way to make the culture grow. Whether it is juju, whether it is R&B, or whether it is Afro R&B, Afro pop. Let's just continue to push out the music as much as we can. Well, Gboyega, I think we have done almost an hour already, if I'm not mistaken. More than an hour, I guess. Uh
Yeah, it's about time we can wrap it up.
Yeah, the intention was to do this just to give you guys updated. I know this is not episode 90 that a lot of people that might be listening might have wanted, but be rest assured that we're still right here. We're still going to be bringing out more stuff. We have a lot of
Yep.
stuff lined up for you. Everything is it's just a little bit difficult sometimes, being in two different parts of the world and trying to connect, or three different parts of the world. It's not that easy, but we try our best that we come through. And we like that our fans or our listeners always come back and listen to the
Yes,
pod. Don't
sir.
worry,
Yes, sir.
we're going to be dropping more stuff. But before we go, Gboyega, I always do this stuff. Sleeper songs.
Oh
What
yes, sleeper
exactly have you been
songs
listening to lately
right
that
now.
like you want people to listen to?
Sleeper songs. Oh my goodness, am I failing at this again? Let me go to my
I mean,
streaming now.
it's fine for you to check your stream on. Yeah, I
Um,
have two.
just give me a second. Let me find it. Let me find a good
Oh, okay.
sleeper jam. Does it
Once you
have to
go,
be?
I'll give. It doesn't have to
Does
be.
it
You
have to
don't.
be? Does it have to be recent?
Well, I mean, if you find it, fine. But mine is not recent though.
Okay, Purple Emoji, Ty Dolla Sign and J. Cole, Purple Emoji. That said, while I was listening to The College Dropout by Kanye West, I found one particular song, and it's called, give me a second. I hope I'm not messing it up. Well, okay, I'm just going to say Spaceship. I found a very cool song on that album, but in the events that I'm not able to find it, just go to College Dropout by Kanye. It's a
Listen to
2004
that
album.
album.
That's
That's
a
a
really
beautiful
tight.
album.
So yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
So yeah.
that's one.
For me, my main sleeper jam is For a Minute. Student Camp featuring Lady Donley. Amazing song. Hold Me Down for a Minute from the 2018 Palm Wine Music 2 from Student Camp SDC. Amazing record. 2018. Just go back, listen. I think I was still in uni at the time. So yeah, it was an awesome song at the time, and it's still awesome. Even every time you listen, it's still fresh. And also, this is recent, but I'm still going to say it again for the up 10 time. Thames Burning is a classic.
Jam.
If you haven't listened to Burning, I envy you so much. I wish I hadn't heard Burning. Like I want to hear Burning again for the first time. And I don't know where Thames is. I don't know whether you watch this. She probably don't. But if you do, this is a shout out to you. And like I, I made people that I know that do they will say they don't like Thames' kind of music. I'm like, yo, you need to listen to Burning. I don't think you don't. I don't know who wrote. I don't know how that song came to be, but whatever energy they had on that, they should keep that energy up because they made a classic, and Thames' voice is just amazing. But yeah, those are the two songs to me. Sleeper Jams. Go on and listen to them for a minute. Show them camp featuring Lady Donley and Thames is Burning. I think he won. He won. The song won Song of the Year in Nigeria actually in the
What
headies. I
song is
think.
that? Burning.
I think so, but people don't know the record. This is one of the things that I say about Nigerians. And just before I run away, maybe it's my time to jab. Nigerian music journalists, please, please, and please calm down. It's not only you that is listening to Nigerian music. Please calm down. Let us enjoy music in peace. It's not every time you write think pieces.
Because
It's not
that's
every
their
time
job.
you remind us. It's not every time you remind us that Nigerian music is dying. It's okay. You can. Don't you know how to say good things?
It's their
And the
job
reason
to
why I'm saying
write.
is I'm seldom online. I'm seldom online. But then anytime I come up, there's always somebody writing a think piece.
Because it's their job.
Sometimes I know it's their job. I mean, I'm not saying. I'm just saying, yo, please, guys, let these people breathe. Just like our president said years ago, let the poor breathe. Let them
I'm
breathe.
I'm I'm looking forward to Ashake's album. Money. I can't wait for it to drop. I hope he ups the ante. I hope he does well.
Yeah,
I'll be jamming it. Yeah, so yeah, that's about it.
yeah,
Share
yeah.
the
All right.
episode. Thank you
Yeah,
for
please
having
do.
watched all the way down to the end. And please share with other people. Let us know what your jams, your favorite songs of this time and old times are, so we can just get into your playlist. Thank you everyone for watching.
Definitely. Definitely.
Nelson,
Thank you so much for watching. Yeah. We out.
peace out.